Welcome to the Sandwich Generation Podcast, a resource for adults balancing the dual responsibilities of raising children and caring for aging parents. Whether you're helping your parents downsize, explore real estate options, navigating caregiving, or looking for practical advice to help your family thrive, this is the place for you. Join us as we bring you expert insights, heartfelt stories, and actionable items to support you and your family within this unique generation.
I love that intro.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I spent my morning gathering up old used baseball equipment because there's this cute boy. There's this cute boy in our community that's like collecting used baseball equipment for the upcoming spring season. So I was like, please come to my house. I have tons I can give you. So
what does he do with this collection?
I think he lets other people use it, people that need it, that can't necessarily afford it.
Disperses it.
He repurposes it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet. And it's a little boy. That's nice.
Yeah. So he and his mom are coming to my house tomorrow morning to take all my things, which I love. Yeah. Get it out of here.
There's probably thousands of dollars of equipment.
Oh, I'm sure.
You and I both got suckered into travel baseball. Except you're double, because I only had one son. Yeah. I only have one son. You have two.
Yep. And when one needs something, the other one wants it too, right?
Of course. Yeah. I sort of miss, I miss watching my son play. I don't miss all the travel ball stuff. And we do it to ourselves, so we can't really complain. Yeah. Yep. So I have a surprise. I didn't tell you before we were talking before the episode because I wanted to get your natural reaction.
Okay. Exciting.
Okay, so I'm in school. I'm about to graduate in May from IU Kelley School of Business with my MBA. I kind of slowed down a little bit so that I could take one class in the summer so that I could apply for another immersion because I leave this Sunday for Costa Rica for that immersion. Yeah. I got accepted. And then the 2025 immersions that they were offering were just insane. Some amazing places. So there were two more that I wanted to apply for. Apparently a lot of people applied. But I just found out that I got accepted to go to Germany in June.
Yay! That's so exciting. Costa Rica and then Germany. Awesome.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. It'll be just like going out with a bang. So this is the year of travel for me.
Hey, you can't beat that. That's the best.
I know. I'm very excited. The other one that I did not get accepted to, but I'm okay with it, was Dubai in March. So I heard that there were a lot of applications. You have to apply, write an essay, all of this, submit your resume. There were so many applications and nobody got multiples. Sometimes people get multiples, but this time around, nobody got multiples. So I don't feel like, bad. Germany, if I had to choose between the two, I'd pick Germany.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And you've never been there, right?
No, but I have, I think I have some German heritage, but so each immersion has a theme. And so the one in Costa Rica, the theme, I don't know if I told you this or not. The theme for Costa Rica is medical and dental tourism. And so we didn't know that when we applied. We just knew it was going to be healthcare. So because of the work that we do, you and I and Julie on our team with helping seniors downsize, it was kind of a stretch that, I'm in the healthcare industry. I'm not really in the healthcare industry, but, we mingle with that crowd a lot. But it just turned out that it's medical and dental tourism. We have a client, a dental clinic, and that clinic basically gets about 35 or 40 of us MBA students as free consultants for the week. So,
wow.
And
So
then the theme for Germany.
No,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Tell me about the theme for Germany.
The theme for Germany is small to medium enterprises, which is us. We're a small business.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited. Yeah. But bring all that knowledge back and make our company better.
Yeah, for sure. And you get to have some fun seeing the different parts of the world while you do it.
I know. I told my kids it's recon because, you know, we have our national parks thing that we like to do, visit as many national parks. And my daughter is obsessed with Paris. She wants to go there. Son loves Australia. So I said, this traveling abroad for me this year is recon. So I can, you know, get the lay of the land in terms of traveling abroad. Because I traveled when I was in the military abroad, and I spent New Year's Eve Y2K in Mexico. But that's all I've done, really. I think. I mean, cruises and stuff like that. But yeah, so
Awesome.
Anyway, yeah, that's my excitement for the day.
Well, cool.
So today, this is season 1, episode 4. And what we have on our list today is that we're going to introduce our title sponsor, which is yours truly, right? Us truly, Indy Real Estate Experts. We're going to introduce ourselves, explain how we align with the podcast mission, and tell people how they can work with us from the real estate side. So we're going to sit on here and talk and interview a bunch of podcast guests and some past clients and people who have been through the downsizing process. But we're going to be intentional about this podcast to explain our actual services, what we get paid for, and how people work with us.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's it. That makes sense, because we can't really talk about our past clients without explaining what it is that we do. So, obviously we shared about the real estate part, and that, you know, we are both real estate brokers. But Indy Real Estate Experts is in downsizing. Indy, we're definitely your babies that you started. So, I mean, I want you to take the floor on this and share with how that all, you know, came about, and how you decided that you needed to be more than just a real estate broker.
Okay. I was going to ask you to go first, but I'll go first. I was, just because I wanted to hear your perspective. Okay. So I feel like talking to you, you probably hear me say this a million times, like, you know, when we're at networking events or talking at our Indie Senior Living Series events. So, but it's not new to our audience. So the people who are listening to our podcast, this will be new to them. So, all right. So Indy Real Estate Experts. It is an independent brokerage in Central Indiana, and we exclusively market to and help seniors and their loved ones downsize into low or no maintenance living. And now we don't just sell the real estate, we also manage the entire downsizing project. So we sort of act, this is what I tell people, but I want to get your take and see like how you tell, you know, the story. We sort of act as like the general contractor for the downsizing project. So in a downsizing project, somebody would need sorters and packers, you need movers. A lot of times you're going to need an auction company or an estate seller. You're going to need a shred bin or a shred service, a cleaner. Sometimes you need contractors, although we're going to talk about that later. But maybe you need contractors. Maybe you need an inspector to do a pre-inspection before you list the house. And then you need a professional photographer and a real estate agent. Did I miss anybody? I'm going through all the people that we hire. Yeah. So for the normal person who's just doing I'd say normal, like our clients aren't normal. Everybody's normal. But for the person who is maybe moving up, or maybe they're buying their first house. It's pretty, it's not as overwhelming. I would say it's still overwhelming. It can be, but not as much as somebody who's maybe in their 80s or an adult child who lives across the country to manage this whole thing. And so when I started specializing in this, I was going to people's homes saying, I specialize in helping seniors downsize, and here's what you need to do first. So you got all this stuff. You need to get sorted, packed, moved, figure out where you're moving to, and get moved there. And then I'll bring in a photographer and, list your house. And they're like, a lot of them didn't do anything because yeah, they're like, I'm already overwhelmed. This is a big job. And so it went on like that for a few years. And then I said, I wasn't like, it wasn't growing. And I figured out it wasn't growing because I was making people more overwhelmed than what they were when they first met me. And I didn't want to do that. So that's when I incorporated the downsizing piece and said, all right, we can handle this. And so that was in 2019, we added that. And this year we made some improvements on it. I feel like each year we make improvements, which is the goal, but we're still, so we'll go to it. Well, I'll let you tell like the process from start to finish. But so this is what we do. We manage the downsizing project. We hire the sorters, packers, movers, the unpackers, which in most cases it's the sorters and packers who are also unpacking, trash haulers, all of that. We hire all those people. We oversee to make sure that they're giving quality service and doing what they said they would and what we're paying them for. And then we get the house ready to list, and then we list the house for sale. We take care of well, I'm trying to leave a lot for you to add in. So that's what we do. How's that?
Yeah. No, I think, yep, that's what we do. Now, how do we do it? Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to give all our secrets away, but
No.
yeah, I, in a previous episode, I talked about how I worked in the senior community for quite a few years. And I worked in the, admissions marketing piece of that, where, I'm sorry, I can hear my dogs howling, which means my husband has left his office and they can't be by themselves. So if you can hear that, sorry.
Did you hear mine when I was talking?
No, I didn't. So hopefully
Okay.
you can't hear mine either. But yeah, they just don't like being by themselves. So anyway, so I worked in that senior community, and we would have people come in that were thinking about moving, right? Thinking about moving into independent living or assisted living. But there was always this hesitation because, well, I think I'm ready to move. I want to do it, but there's just so much to do. I've lived in that house I raised my entire family there. And so I have our stuff, their stuff. Every kid that went away to college has come back with more stuff, and that's there. And how am I supposed to, empty it? I just can't even imagine how to do that. So that was what I was hearing a lot. And that's what we hear still a lot in working with clients is, sometimes they've been in their homes for a number of years. They've had, their children there. They've had grandchildren there now. And there's just a lot of stuff to go through, and it can be really overwhelming as far as where do you start? How do you begin? And so that's what we like to do, is just kind of come in and say, okay, we have a proven plan, and we can take this overwhelming project that you feel like is going to take months or years, and we can condense that down to about 30 days for you, sometimes less. So, yeah, I think you mentioned the things that we do, but, and obviously we customize it depending on what that particular client may need. But oftentimes they kind of have an idea of where they're wanting to move already. Sometimes they don't, and we need to, kind of help guide that decision as well. Give them our feedback of places maybe they should go visit or see. We can bring in one of our sponsors, Dave Holder with Assisted Living Locators. He's amazing. He's helped many of our clients. Yes, he's helped many of our clients, and he's also helped, a couple of my friends personally with their families. So he's great at helping you kind of determine what it is you're wanting, what you can afford, and what communities might be best. And so we'll definitely have him on the podcast to share more. But so once they've decided where they're going to go, where we're moving, then we kind of start getting those pieces in place. Like, do we need the sorters and packers that help figure out what we're taking with us, label what we're taking. I actually saw, Lisa, you had posted something, I think, on Facebook of a property that's for sale that just went live yesterday. And yeah, the before and after. And someone commented and said, why is there different colored tape on all the furniture? That's part of that process of what we help people do. Like, what are we keeping? What can go? And by go, we mean, are we doing an estate sale? Are we doing an auction? Is it a junk haul situation? That kind of thing. So basically we start. Yep. A lot of times there's family members that are wanting some of those pieces, and then the things that they're taking with them too. So everything gets color coded. But yeah, we just kind of help with that process, like selecting the items that you're going to be taking, they're going to be taking and moving with them, giving a timeline for those family members to come and get the things that they are wanting. And then we go into what can be. Yes, definitely give them a deadline, because otherwise that will just
drag on forever.
Yep, that's right. Because chances are that thing's been there for 20 years already and they haven't come to pick it up. So we have to give them a pretty firm deadline. Where was I going? Oh, then it's a matter of, is there enough to do an estate sale? Do we need to have pull in an auction? And we have our vetted and preferred partners that we use for all of those services. So that happens. Then we go into what can be donated. And sometimes the clients themselves will have their preferred places to donate things to, places that they've given to over the years. And we always work with them with that to see, where do you want these things to go? And if they have no preference, then we'll pull in places that we know that give back to our communities. I know I personally try to make sure we're donating to places that directly impact our Indianapolis and surrounding suburbs. It just makes us feel better how those things are happening. So we'll do the donation piece, and then junk haulers. Another piece of that, which I actually just talked to a lady this morning about, was the paper. We tend to see a lot of paper hoarders, is what I call it, where they've kept every invoice, statement, receipt, whatever, checkbook. Medical, all the checkbooks, medical records, all that stuff. So there sometimes is a lot of things that need to be disposed of properly. Can't just throw in the regular trash. So we'll pull in, shredders if we need to do that kind of stuff too. Then we get movers. So movers will help get us where we're going, our new location. Those sorters and packers that helped on the front end are generally going to help on that next step too. Once we get where we're going, I'm going to help get unpacked, get the apartment or condo or whatever it is set up for them. We try to make it so that they can come in, everything looks homey, the coffee maker's plugged in, alarm clocks are plugged in, there's lamps and night lights, and, we want them to be safe and comfortable on the very first night. They know where their medications are, all those kinds of things. And those are things that when you work with seniors, you really want to make sure are in place. The safety is the number one thing. So once that's done, then that's when the real action starts happening with pulling in the estate sale people, the auction people, letting them pick up that stuff, get it out of the property, donation pickups, trash haulers. And then we get to do the cleaning and the professional photographers to come in and get that property listed and sold. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we do. And, not every client needs all those different pieces. There's some things that they may still prefer to do on their own. Though we do have, I will say, a lot of our clients that will think that they want to do their own packing or unpacking. At least on my end, I feel like that's probably the most popular thing that they say they're going to handle themselves. And then pretty quickly they change their tune. Like, oh, never mind. This is actually way more than I thought it was going to be. It's I'll let you guys handle it. So, we customize to what their needs are and their wants are. But we can also just make it very seamless, and we give them a calendar so that they know when things are happening, what's happening, who's going to be there. We always meet everyone there with them. Do what?
We should have made a slide so
Yeah,
that
I
we
know.
could show what the calendar looks like, or like do a sample. We'll have to put that on another episode. We'll show a sample downsizing calendar. So
Yeah.
people can see what that looks like.
Yeah, because they may have 3 to 5, sorting sessions with the sorters and packers and things like that. So we get that all on a calendar for them. But the great part about us acting as the general contractor, I use that verbiage too. That's how I think most easily explained. Is we are the one contact for our client. They don't have to call all these different people. They don't have to schedule it. They don't have to arrange it. They don't have to be in their house by themselves meeting these people for the first time, on their own. We're there doing that, introducing them, and just guiding through the whole way. So if they have any questions or concerns, they contact us, and then we will handle whatever it is that they need. So that's how we're different. That's why we love working with seniors, and what sets us apart from your traditional real estate agent.
Yeah. And I have felt for a very long time, I would say since I started in real estate, I've always had a special niche that I worked with, because you have to differentiate yourself. At one point, there were over 10,000 real estate agents in central Indiana. And I mean, how do you differentiate yourself? By having a race to the bottom in terms of prices, and then what? You're not going to stay in business long that way. So I initially started with expired listings. That was back before everybody had cell phones. I could look up people's numbers at whitepages.com or knock on their door or whatever. So I did that for a number of years. I did short sales when the market was really bad, and then found this beautiful niche, and the rest is history, so they say. But you have to differentiate yourself in a crowded and competitive market. And I'm learning that now more than ever with my MBA. We do so many analysis of, and I've been able to use our own company as on some of the cases that we work on, but so many comparative or competitive analysis with our business, so that we know if there is competition and what it looks like, and how are we different. So, and in real estate specifically, I think it's probably this way in other industries too, but specifically in real estate, it's counterintuitive for people to say, we exclusively specialize in blah, whatever it is. Because the next sentence is going to be, oh, but we can also help first-time home buyers and move-up buyers and sellers on the whole other side of the state of Indiana, because they don't want to leave. They want to keep all their options open. But it's scientifically proven, and I'll look it up so I can source my site. But when you give someone too many options like that, you're not memorable. But when you say, we're the real estate agents that specialize in helping seniors downsize, people remember that. And I say it all the time. The more that I've leaned into this niche, the bigger we've gotten, the busier we've gotten, the more business, the more seniors we've been able to help. And there are too many people just in central Indiana alone, probably in my zip code. In your zip code, there are too many seniors there. We do not have the capacity to help them all. So basically there's plenty of business to go around. We need to do a better job of telling our story, which is part of the reason we have this podcast. We need to do a better job of telling our story and then continue to gear up for what's to come. Because in another podcast, we talked about how every day 10,000 baby boomers are retiring, which is indicative of what the future is going to look like for real estate agents like us who help seniors downsize. So what else? Is there anything else that we need to add? I wonder what questions people will have now that they've heard kind of our process.
Well, yeah. And we have an upcoming episode where we are going to talk about how to recognize when it might be time to downsize, or how to see that in your parent, how to have that conversation with them. And so we'll be getting to that as far as, things to be mindful of, looking for, watching for, how to approach the conversation. So look for that episode coming up here in, probably the next couple weeks, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's on our calendar of events. But if you guys are watching this, we're not posting this live. It's a previous recording. Well, it will be when we post it. But if you're watching this and you've heard our process and you still have questions, or you have other questions, please put your comments or questions in the comments section of your favorite podcast, wherever you're listening. It's on YouTube. I was trying to tell my dad how to listen to the podcast. And I was like, I'll just send you the link, because if I send him a Spotify link, it's going to probably require him to create an account.
An account. Yeah. Probably not going to do.
No, he's like, no, they're not getting my information. And I'm like, Dad, if you have a cell phone, they already have a smartphone. They already have your information.
True.
They're listening to you. Big Brother is watching. So I said, I'll send him the link, but you can watch on YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
It's on Apple. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where
I'm sure others too, but
yeah, that's where you can find us and post your questions. Share the podcast with other people and encourage them to like and follow, subscribe, comment, all the goods. And with that, I think we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next time.